is the manifestation of the divine. God is beautiful and He loves beauty.
Craftsmanship will simply produce beauty. Why? Because there are two principles combined to produce beauty: truth and goodness. And once you have truth and goodness, you end up with beauty.
I think the most important aspect of caravan is the cultural aspect. We are not making a village for tourism. We are not making a temporary structure for fun. What we are trying to make is a cultural thing that is a place for learning.
The Majlis has never been installed in the desert yet.
What is changing here is the textiles here will be different. Initially it was from Morocco, but here we're trying to develop with the local artisans, with Sadu weavers, with Bedouins, which are actually exist here still.
The concept is to pay tribute to all the people who make things with their hands.
When Sadu is made, traditionally it's always made in the same measurements. It's about 50 centimeters wide, and then it can go like a few meters long, anything between like 6 to 10, 12 meters long.
We wanted to kind of build a crafts community locally here. And so we began with a couple of weavers that you would meet at a cultural event. We started building acquaintances, and then they graciously warmed us into their own community, into their own homes, and they introduced us to their sister, to their mother, to their aunt. It became very evident that these women were very strong-willed and they were highly skilled. They just needed a platform, the kind of support that we can give.
اللي نقدر عليه ونشوفه أي شيء نشوفه نسويه. حتى لو ما احنا نعرفه وريناه مرة واحدة مرتين خلاص عرفنا. تبرمج.
We planned not to be a part of the design process and not talk about what exact motifs we want to see on the walls. So we just allow the weavers
make their decisions.
نقشط الله يسلمش ضروس خيل وجود شجر وهنا في الوسط عويرجان وشجرة والجناح الثاني بعد نقول له انت شجر وضروس خيل.
شجرة تشكلينها تحطين تشكيلة غير كل شيء غير.
Well, what we need to understand is that anything can be sustained if the right context exists. And what is important in sustaining all of our traditions, at least the ones that we value most, is that if we ensure that we live within these natural environments.
أول شيء بالنسبة لفوائد الغنم، يعني فوائد الغنم كثيرة، يعني منها الألبان ومنها الصوف ومنها الجنين بتاع ذاته يعني. اللهم صل على الله، النعم الموجودة فيها إنه بتعطيك حياة كثيرة، يعني ممكن تاكل منها، ممكن تشرب منها، ممكن تبيع منها إذا احتجتها، ممكن يعني فوائدها كثيرة لا تحصى ولا تعد. بتجزها في الأوقات اللي هي وقت الحرارة، مثلا من شهر 3 إلى نهاية الشتاء، ممكن في السنة جزها مرتين. وبرضه في الوقت السخانة هذا عندها سبوحة تغسلها أول قبل الجز وبتجزها، ويعني بتختلف من ناعية لأخرى، بتختلف في الصوف، في الشكل، في اللون، في أي شيء بتختلف. هذا يصلح للغلط والنسيج، هذا من هنا كامل جنبات كاملة مع الظهر كامل، هذا كله يكون سلسلة واحدة، هذا كله يصلح للغزل والنسيج. أما بتاع الأيادي والأرجل ده ما بيصلح، لأنه شنو بيكون قطع صغيرة، بعدين بيكون شنو ناشف ما زي ده، هذا شوية بشنو تحس بيه ناعم ويقدر الزول يتحكم فيه في الغزل.
We are endowed with these skills that we've inherited from one generation to the other. And we need to make sure that these skills continue to be used in our contemporary life. And the Majlis sits within that greater context. So if we make sure that this context is actually working for everybody, then we will be able to preserve that transmission of values from one generation to the other.
With Sadu, it was a matter of understanding how it can still be a very relevant factor in our day-to-day life. So with product development or with creating a ethical supply chain of raw materials that you can locally source is a testament of its relevance today.
أيوة القرن هذا الله يسلمش يقولوا ليش قرن الظبي، يكون من أول يوم كانوا بالصحراء يصيدون الظبي.
The loom itself was never developed. They use the same tools that they've used for a few hundred years. For some reason, this is how they want to continue doing it, and I think it's because they respect the hard work and the hard lifestyle that their ancestors lived.
من عشاق البر. ليه؟ والله يا أختي من يوم خلقت وأنا في البر. الناس عايشين في البر، بدو. ما تسمعين بالبدو؟
أسمع.
وكل شيء عندي منه خلفية، يعني إذا كان علاج أو نوع الطعام شنو أو المرض اللي هي مرضان شنو أو أي شيء، يعني عنده خلفية، يعني ما شغلت يوم أو يومين، يعني ورثة من الأجداد والآباء يعني. الحمد لله الخلفية موجودة من بدري يعني. والله يا أخي الشيء المحبوب في العمل، أنت كل ما حبيت عملك كل ما قدرت أتقنته وكل ما طلعت بالصورة الجميلة المطلوبة. أنت بتحب نفسك من خلال أدائك للعمل ومن خلال جودتك له وأدائك له بالصورة التامة، والحمد لله. بعدين العمل الحياة في العمل عبادة، العمل عبادة.
كل شيء في السد والصد من الصغيرة للكبير تشتغلينها، بس احنا ناس انفسنا لأننا نحب الشيء هذا.
Linear access the spirituality with the Creator, and that manifestation falls into her arms, and she starts to basically put in that love into her actual textile.
هو الشغل كله فن وهواية كله ما شاء الله. شوفي هذا كله سويته كذا. أحبهم.
يب واحد في الشغل ما في بدون شغل. الشغل حتى لو تاخذ من ده وتسرح لو تشتغل عليه طول النهار ما تاخذ الا شبر.
أحب القطعة اللي تكون واو إنها تكون كبيرة مزخرفة، كل اللي عند الحرفية طلعينها فيها. هذا الشيء اللي أحبه والشيء اللي أحس إنه له قيمته.
I start with myself. I start with my family, with the people who I know. I start with all my projects and try to make sure that everything that we consume is made by the craftspeople that we value most. Because it is through that craft that many of our metaphors is carried. It is through that craft that goodness and truth is carried.
This makes me happy to see butterfly, dragonfly every morning. I enjoy a lot working and discovering that we are having and enhancing biodiversity, for example. Project of the garden in the museum, as we are in an urban context, and there is some palm trees there, so we really developed this concept of the oasis, working on the plants and the trees which are really existing in the oasis, herbs and some cultural vegetable like jarjir and some others is something that our grandmother was building also.
Tradition is the transmission of all universal truths. It's kind of an engine, the backbone. It's the way where you can kind of frame a judgment and know what's right from wrong.
Tradition is the contemporary world. I mean, if we think of tradition as the past, then that's not tradition. Tradition is a chain, the uninterrupted chain that is based on transcendental values.
الناس يعني حبوا الرخاء، يحبون يقعدون ويحبون يشوفون التلفزيون ويحبون يحلون في الشبكة عشان الجوال يشبك. ما عاد يقدرون يروحون أرض ما فيها شبكة ولا فيها رسالة. الناس اللي تغير، الوقت ما تغير، الوقت عمو عليه.
The city fabric is so crucial. The buildings that we live in contribute to who we are. They shape how we think. Our perception is drawn by how the city is designed and developed. And the Majlis sits within that greater context. I think the Majlis constitute a university of sort. It has been the place where values have been transmitted from one generation to the other. And I thought this symbolizes the most beautiful aspect of our culture. Now, the most important aspect is that we show the Majlis within the context of the finest level of craftsmanship. And that's, I think, what we managed to deliver.
Beauty is not a material thing. It is the radiation of the harmonious. What is in harmony always creates beauty. In music, in architecture, in nature. And harmony is nothing but the relationship of things to things in the right proportions.